Hello. I'm Danny Picard. How are we all doing? Anybody else have a fun, interesting day today? Some really cool, intense energies going on. As always, it's going to be fun. I wanted to talk about something really important that will really assist people in understanding a very important topic when it comes to healing and working through stuff and understanding the different ways that life works, how we work, how our mind works, how our subconscious mind works. What's a subconscious mind? You know, you've heard about it. Hello, Karen. Hi, Murray. Welcome to the party. Hi, Terry. Hi, Kathy. There's a lot of different aspects that go into healing. Plain and simple. Okay. So there's one of the things that I will talk about in terms of my own process is really getting to know the subconscious mind. Because, you know, I was doing everything by the book and doing all the energy work and the meditation, and it was kind of working, and then it would go, and then I would slide back into my old habits. And the subconscious mind is just that. It's the habitual mind. It's kind of the, it's always running in the background. It's digesting your food. It's dreaming at night. It's all the processes. It's like the computer system, you know, just that's underlying the unit, you know, that's it's always running in the background. Okay. It's telling us what to do. Now, in terms of the subconscious mind, the way that, and the reason why I'm talking about this is because oftentimes we try to overcome different situations and different things that have been holding us back, and you know, so, and then, you know, we get all caught up at how come I can't move past this? Oh, I'm so good at going to the gym for like 3 weeks and then I fall off, and then, or, oh, I can stick to that diet for this long and then I get mad at myself, or the term self-sabotage comes up, or, you know, the higher you climb, the harder you'll fall. These are all beliefs, okay? These are all beliefs that we learn in our childhood and through observing, you know, the way that and the reason why I'm talking about this, I am a certified hypnotherapist. So, and this is a big reason why I actually went and got my hypnotherapy certification, is so I could actually overcome these different speed bumps and roadblocks and different beliefs that were holding me back. Okay. I wanted to quit doing drugs. I wanted to quit doing all these things, and I wanted to make my life better. Okay. So in order to actually go about that, you know, I went ahead and got, hi Maud, I went ahead and got my certification, and that just completely rounded out everything that I did. And it was like taking my car that was stuck in the mud, that I would keep spinning my wheels and get the same results over and over. It was like kicking it in the 4-wheel drive and actually getting stuff going. It was like, yes, oh my God. The subconscious mind is when, I'll start from the beginning. When we're born, and between the ages of 0 and 7, we're in a theta state. The theta state being that of we are downloading information. We're downloading, you know, how to survive, how our parents are surviving, how to walk, talk, breathe, sleep, all that stuff, how to process, okay? And during that time, when we're being raised in environments that maybe your parents or maybe your family, there wasn't a whole lot of boundaries, or maybe there was, you know, overbearing parents, or maybe there was abuse. All these things really, really, really get lodged into the perceptions, and really what we're talking about is the way that we perceive things, okay? So as we perceive things as being a certain way, even if somebody says, no, you can't have that, over and over and over again, you know, some people go, oh, okay, maybe I have this story that I can't have that. No, what actually gets translated is that the belief becomes, I'm not worthy enough, or I'm not good enough, okay? Or if parents leave, or if people die when you're young, okay? Or if parents get divorced, it often translates into a sense of abandonment, okay? And abandonment typically becomes the core issue, but then it moves out into different trails of, different symptoms of being perhaps maybe codependent, or maybe you had, maybe there weren't a lot of boundaries, where, you were given everything, and, everybody was super nurturing, but it really didn't teach you about like good communication skills and boundaries. And then people were leaving, and then you have abandonment and codependency stuff. And a lot of these things translate into the empath and being super sensitive, so all these different things. But what is really cool to look at is that these different belief systems that gets translated in here through the perceptions, they stay with us. So not only that, if you ever wondered like, wow, I'm like totally dating my dad, or, I'm in a relationship with somebody who's always like my mom. It's, this stuff like, those different reoccurring things. This is why there's a familiarity. There's a familiarity that the subconscious mind is used to. And what I call it is like almost like a vibrational, not an addiction, but like a vibrational comfort zone. So later on in life, we actually start repeating a lot of these things because it's what's familiar to us, okay? So what is really important to understand, the perceptions, and this is when we go into what's called epigenetics, and I'll talk about this in a second, the way that we perceive things, the way that we were programmed to learn, to perceive things, and to give things meaning becomes that which continues throughout our lives, unless you choose to take control or to actually do something about it. Our subconscious mind is important to, it's literally 95% of our waking consciousness is run off of subconscious programs and belief systems and all these things, okay? 95% of the time, subconscious. That means all these old belief systems, patterns, and habits are literally what's running your life 95% of your day, okay? So what I started to think about is, well, what would it be like to live in a little bit more intentionally? How would I do that? Okay, I wanted to overcome a lot of these different obstacles. And, in my life, there was always, these little hiccups or these like, how come I just can't I feel stuck, or blah, 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 blah. If you're stuck, it's really, 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 because it's that familiarity, it's that comfort zone, okay? It's like, oh, well, I'm stuck. So there's a bunch of different things that you can do, okay? There's the aspect of, mindfulness and meditation when I started at the age of 17, 23 years ago, really helped me be focused and present, okay? To be here now. And of course, we go in and out of that, okay? Unless you're like a Jedi ninja master present guy person. They, them, people, human, okay? So now, here's the thing is that if we're running off of our present state and being in a present state, what's going on is that your subconscious mind actually is not operating at its fullest. You're intentional, you're being more intentional, so it's a lot easier to be aware of the decisions you're making, the words that come out of your mouth. It's a lot easier to create rather than react, okay? So by allowing your conscious mind, your ability to be intentional, to really step forward into becoming the forefront of your life, not only that, And if you can start reprogramming your subconscious mind to move in tandem at the same time as, basically with your intentional mind, because your intentional mind, and you're going, okay, cool, I'm present. I'm going to be one big solid powerhouse of making stuff happen and rising above and really accomplishing what I want to do. Okay. And it makes it a lot easier. Now, when we move into the aspect that 95% of the day is based on your subconscious minds, how we perceive things, how we perceive scenarios. So if there's trauma in your past, we're going to have a perception that, hey, here's a trigger. We're not going to understand that it's a trigger. It's just going to be triggering. And we're going to start basically attracting, because this all integrates law of attraction too. If we have these unresolved issues from our past based on traumas or different situations, abuse, or some form of like emotional neglect or any of that stuff, even just, you're not good enough, or my standards are so high and there's this expectation of absolute perfection. It doesn't matter. So these different things, they will completely, kind of repeat themselves later on. And that's why we start mirroring these different things. So when I talk about forgiveness, I'm talking about it in a different way. It's a lot of people, they think they know how to forgive and whatnot, but the true meaning of forgiveness in terms of resolving, letting go of any energetic tightness or basically any energetic restriction that one may still have upon a former instance that was, traumatic or triggering or hard or whatever. So we can actually let go and actually clear that out of your space, or what I call clearing your karma. I don't look at karma the same way, but we want to stop these repetitive patterns. Okay, so we want to actually get people into a state of being intentional so you can actually really put your car into 4-wheel drive and kick ass. Kick ass. Okay, so there's, when you can just think about when you are actually able to really get your subconscious mind and your present state and really working into, okay, here's my goal. Here's my goal in life. Say my goal is I want to be a tow truck driver. No, let's go bigger. Let's talk about me. What I would like to do is I'd like to inspire more people by being on stage. So I have to look at myself and go, okay, what are some repetitive stories in my own space that may be keeping me from getting in there? And some of the things that I go through is fear of success. Why is that an issue? And then there's an aspect of, tapping into my own power. But also a deeper underlying story is, if I become successful, will I be stressed out and freaked out all the time because I'm sensitive? Will I have the support to assist me in helping other people? And, and we want to get into a state of, well, in order to actually create a reality, we need to go into manifestation, go, I will have this. I will have this because that's what I need and I am always supported. So I have to change my belief systems. Because the underlying program, it's kind of like a computer. We have all these files that were downloaded in our early years, that we're saying this is the norm, 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 this is the norm. Now, as we grow, our hearts evolve, our minds evolve, our bodies evolve, our situations, our environments evolve. Okay. But what's happening now with the spiritual evolution that's going on is that our hearts are actually evolving and becoming much more powerful than ever before. So we have these subconscious mind programs that are actually, it's becoming really important to update them more continuously. And we can do that a lot more often, okay? So as we integrate the subconscious mind and knowing that it's here to help you, it's always trying to make you safe. Always. It's like your little buddy. It's like your little buddy going, hey, I got you. But if your subconscious mind was taught that, hey, my version of making sure you're protected was still based off of the past when you were 3 years old, but yet you're 40, there's a little bit of, you're going to notice a different contrast. So it's when we gotta understand that it's really important to go, hey, there's some things that I might need to iron out, or that I would really prefer my subconscious mind to be on my heart's team. Okay? So here's in this whole awakening process, our heart is becoming the leader. Okay? Not our minds, not our subconscious minds. And eventually what I see is that we will start moving away from 95% into becoming a lot more intentional based, because we're becoming more heart-centered. The subconscious mind is going to be a little bit more merging with the heart-centered consciousness, to where we're going to be working in a much more intentional way. So the subconscious mind is not always going to be super, super duper aware, but it is right now for a lot of people, and that's awesome. And so we got to work with that until things just shift, and but it's going to be a gradual process. What most people are overcoming and trying to overcome is, how do I overcome these different obstacles that keep getting in my way? Okay. And the trick is to not focus on the obstacles that keep getting in your way. Oh, that's so ironic. Law of attraction states that if you focus on the obstacles that keep getting in your way, you're going to actually energetically create those obstacles to be more powerful, then also create more of a groove in your record to being stuck or sticking around in that same place. Okay. So what is really cool about the subconscious mind is that the subconscious mind doesn't really know the difference between dream state and reality state. So we can actually use this in a way to coerce the subconscious mind into imagining. If you were the Bombazang, just imagine. Hey, subconscious mind, what if you were the Bombazang? And what if the Bombazang was like, oh my God, the Bombazang. And that's just like the heart is like, hey, I'm the Bombazang too. But we oftentimes have these thoughts and programs in our heads that going, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be the Bombazang. I'm not worthy enough to be the Bombazang. I'm not worthy enough to try to be the Bombazang. But I want to feel better, so maybe I'll try to start something new. And then I swear I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. And then for some reason you still go for that, big old, box of cookies, or, even habits in terms of eating, emotional eating when you're bored. I have a subconscious program where I eat to help me ground. When you look at the frequency of food that you eat, you think of, okay, there's vegetables, there's all sorts of things, that are very, very high vibey. They're high vibey and low vibey for a reason. The things that are low vibey because it's actually taking more time and energy for your body to digest it. That's why it's low vibey. Plus people will go, well, it's because you slaughtered something. And I'm like, well, the vegetables are screaming too. Different topic. But anyways, when we get into, the aspects of what it is that you want to see yourself doing, when we set out for goals, we want to look at what are the weeds in your garden that are not allowing you to look at the flowers. Okay. I love the garden analogy, and I'll use 2 different analogies, and this is what I do with all my clients. So there's 2 different analogies that I've thought of. The garden analogy, one is, okay, let's take a look at your weeds. We don't have to go into great detail about what the weeds are or how they were formed. It's just a weed. It's a continual story. It's a ghost representation of the past that you're still repeating in the present. How do we let you resolve that? And how do we actually move you out of that? What resources can I give to you and your subconscious mind to bring you into a state of balance? So, what weeds are in your garden? Okay, so for example, say I want to inspire a bunch of people, I want to be on stage, but here's a couple of weeds I have or have had in terms of fear of success or afraid that, a little bit of a fear that I won't be supported. Okay, so how it's not going to do any good by focusing on how those are issues. Okay, that's not going to do any good. What we have to actually do is we have to kind of assist the subconscious mind in realizing that imagine how safe you are when you're actually there, when you're doing it and looking that, by doing something good for people, people are going to want to step forward and maybe help. And, maybe you're going to have so much help that you don't know what to do with it, So as we start going into subconscious mind and start working and training your thoughts to actually move in a direction that you want to achieve in your goal, things are going to be a lot more flowy. Not to mention our thoughts are magnetic. So if you're thinking thoughts of I can't achieve this or I suck or I'm not good enough, you're going to attract other people who are also reflecting that. Okay? So I realized a while ago that if I wanted to actually achieve something and actually really scoot forward in life, I needed to realize that, okay, as I work with raising my frequency, by taking better care of myself, by becoming more holistically balanced, by acknowledging that my thoughts are actually also important, because if I'm thinking thoughts that I'm not good enough, there's nothing different than, going out and getting completely hammered and being hungover for 2 days, because it's actually going against the grain of the heart. The heart and the soul knows that you're amazing. The heart and soul knows that you're worthy. It was born that way. It knows that. So what we do and what we have to go through during this awakening process, how do we alchemically, how do we shift? All these different things are keeping different energies on lockdown. Okay, so if you have a thought form that says, I'm not good enough, you're actually going to attract other situations, other environments, and other things that are going to reflect that into your state, okay? And then you go, and this is what creates the mentality of the victim, okay? Based on your past, different circumstances. If you were in a state, or if you were abused, or if you had some sort of situation that was happening in your youth, but you weren't in control, you were not empowered to leave. And then this could be just having to deal with a loud relative over and over and over again. It doesn't matter. But that can bring forth the story and the perception as though you don't have boundaries, you're not important, and you don't have the empowerment to actually make a change within that. So as an adult, as you evolve, that kind of moves into many different aspects. Now it's also what forms a healer, because we go, as a person who's energetically sensitive, it's also what creates energetic sensitives, is through these different perceptions of not having boundaries. And this is also what creates psychics and all that stuff. All of it stems from childhood energetic development, but also soul map and soul creation, soul contracts. So then we have the process of, oh my gosh, I'm so sensitive later on in my life. And a lot of people go, oh, I'm going to turn this into a psychic. I can help people. Oh, I can help people. When actually it turns into, or it's been a thing with, I feel everybody's pain, so I'm just going to help everybody, because actually if I help you, it's actually easier for me, because then I don't have to feel your crap. But that's kind of like on a very, very deep level. But we also want to go into, there's also the aspect of I genuinely want to help people. And as we do learn how to rise above into a more empowered state, into that creator state, into that state of, I'm going to live in more integrity and more intentional being. In that 5% of my conscious day, I'm going to be a lot more conscious and living with integrity and a lot more purpose and a lot more, as a creator rather than a reactor. And so as we do this, what we actually start doing is we start stepping out of what that victim state is, and we start noticing the empowerment through creation and noticing that, hey, I'm making progress by resolving these weeds, by thinking in new ways and training my subconscious mind to move in tandem with my heart, as well as, now another thing, I'll talk about this in a minute, but as we are able to do this, we actually start clearing the weeds out of the garden, okay? As the weeds get cleared out of the garden, you're able to focus on the flowers that have already been there. The flowers that have been like, don't forget about me, I'm underneath the thistles. Okay? So there's flowers already in your garden. You were born with flowers, each and every one of us. You have flowers. You have a garden. Okay? So as we start making progress and rising out of these different different weeds or whatnot, you start focusing on the flowers. You go, I'm making progress. I'm starting to feel better about who I am. I'm starting to realize that, oh, there's something to this. I'm acknowledging my subconscious mind is actually really here to support me. It's actually here. It just needs a little, re-upping, going, oh, wait, oh, this is how we do it now? Oh, okay, I got it. Okay? It doesn't know that. It just knows, okay, this is what the male figure in your life equates. This is what the female figure in your life equates. Oh, perfect. Here's a match. And then you're like, oh, that's not the relationship I wanted. Oddly, it reminds me of my parents. No. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? So as we are able to start focusing on the flowers, we're able to nourish them. We're able to fertilize them. We're able to understand what things, what resources, what beauties, what magic, what things you have in your life. We're able to pretty much start fertilizing them and going, oh wait, you know what? I'm starting to feel a little bit more grateful. I'm starting to feel a little bit more grateful. I'm feeling a little bit more positive. I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic. I'm feeling a whole lot better about who I am. I'm feeling a whole lot better about who I am because it's so much easier to focus on these flowers now. And then what happens, you start moving and say, I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so much better about who I am. Gosh darn it, I'm going to go plant some new flowers. I'm going to go plant some seeds. I'm going to go, you know what? I want to manifest this. I want to manifest this. I want to manifest this. It's so much easier to manifest this, now that you're not focusing on the weeds or having to tend to the weeds. Okay? Not all of your energy is focused on the weeds anymore. As your energy starts focusing on the flowers and what you want to create, the energies that are going on in the world right now are here to focus on the flowers and what other flowers you want to plant. It's not so much focused on the weeds anymore, but the subconscious mind is used to focusing on the weeds. This, my friends, is how spiritual evolution is operating. Okay? This is how the energies are affecting us. A lot of people who are having a tough time are still getting caught up on focusing on the weeds rather than creating and planting seeds for manifestation, what you want to create in your life. Make sense? I really love how easily this is flowing. I love it. Oh, good. Okay, perfect. So now for those scientific engineer programming types, I use the analogy of a computer. Like we've downloaded all these computer files. And then as the human body is like it's like a computer. You have all these files running on. So we say you downloaded Windows 95 once upon a time. Well, it's 2019. okay? So Windows 95 isn't really going to be the best thing. So we need to defragment your system, okay? So and I thought about this for a while. I'm like, how can I defragment people's systems? Oh, okay, give Reiki attunements or an attunement of some sort, okay? So what I do is I integrate Reiki attunements, and this is why Reiki was a foundation in what I did, is that I found that the attunement process allowed for the disheveling and the defragmentation of old files that the conscious mind was not able to be self-aware of. For Reiki always goes to where it needs to. The healing always goes to where it needs to, working with subconscious mind with the healing. So as we actually work with these different attunements, it allows the defragmentation of these old files, which are no longer in alignment with the new frequencies that are coming in. So as we're able to do that, as it makes the clay more malleable, we can go in with the subconscious mind and go, okay, what is it that you want? What goals are you wanting to, what plants, what flowers you want, what programs do you want to download today? Hi, Jerry. Okay. So, and this is what makes the work a little bit different that I do than most people. So as a person who teaches Reiki teachers 5 vibrational levels higher than Usui Reiki Mastery, as well as Master Metatronia therapist and working with Source, as well as Metatronic codings and the sacred geometric codings and whatnot, and access, focusing on the energy of potential. How can we scoot you into your highest potential, aiming big, reach high? How can we do that? And then as I've been doing this for such a long time, I realized that I can actually create all these other different attunements by using different facilities and whatnot that I have access to because I've been working on myself for such a long time. And I can integrate it with subconscious mind and then basically create a subconscious hypnotherapy session that's integrating different sacred geometric templates and utilizing different codes to reharmonize the light body and the energetic body of the person that I'm working with. That is actually beyond what the linear mind is, focusing on, but it brings them into a much more higher state of alignment. So what I do with my coaching and whatnot is I help people, I teach them how to love themselves. I teach them that they're worthy of loving themselves, okay? Because it's really important. And I have a really funny thumb. My thumb does that. It's kind of weird. I don't know why, but it's cool. Hi, Kathy. Okay, so my big thing is, one of my biggest fears was, I have a hard time loving myself when I was younger. And I realized that if one of the hardest things for myself to do is loving myself, that means I should probably practice. I should probably find new ways in order to love myself. And so as that became the goal, that's when I started realizing that I had all these different roadblocks in my way from loving myself, or these different excuses, or even the subconscious program that I would make an excuse. These different stories, these habits and patterns, okay? These habits, they're habits, okay? Your energy follows your thoughts. Your thoughts create your reality. A repetitive thought becomes a belief. A belief system becomes a program, but we can change them. So now a lot of people, they don't understand energy healing. Not a lot of people do. They think they do. They want to think they do, but they don't. Okay? So with energy healing or any aspects of that, as we actually purify and raise our frequency within ourselves by doing self-healing and taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves, we become a much brighter essence of facility. We're able to empower other people much easier. So this is actually how I help other practitioners amplify their potency by teaching them how to love themselves more. So a lot of healers go into the mode of, I have to help everybody else. But then a lot of them stay drained. And it's really important that we, start educating, different practitioners out there that it's really important to balance that, to make sure that you're your priority. Then you're able to help other people much easier. Okay, you see it with nurses outside smoking cigarettes. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a healer, a practitioner, a therapist, psychologist, doctor. If you're a person of service and you're giving all the time, what's going to happen is that your body, your subconscious mind, starts going into a state of fight or flight. A state of fight or flight based on you need to do this in order to survive. Hey, guess what? That's also called anxiety. So as we actually start working off our subconscious programming and being in this habit of survival mode, as creating a subconscious story of like, oh my God, I have so much to do. Oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. Oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. What's going on is that this is going, I'm freaking out right now because you're not honoring me. That's called anxiety. When you start to honor yourself first, and with whatever's left over, then you can assist other people. And you can assist people in a much better way because you're going to be energized, you're going to be well taken care of, well nourished, well pampered, loved by you. You're going to be able to make such a bigger difference in another person's life when you are helping them. And the old paradigm story is that a lot of people say that, oh, you're selfish for doing that. Oh, you're a jerk for doing that. You don't care about people. No, the reason why I take care of myself so much is so I have the energy to be as potent and clear when I'm talking to people as I can be. To where I'm not getting trumped up in my head and trying to think about what I'm saying. Everything's just coming out. It's like automatic. Okay? So, but when other people, when you go to a person who's a practitioner and whatnot, and they're actually really taking care of themselves, you know the difference. You know, it's much easier to, to feel safe with them. It's much easier to understand what they're talking about because they're taking care of, they're not running off a subconscious program of I'm habitually taking care of everybody else but me. Okay? And oftentimes that taking care of other people much more than myself thing turns into a whole other slew of problems, but it's all originated oftentimes all the way back in your childhood development, okay? Worthiness. Maybe you were not taught that you were worthy enough to know that you have boundaries or that you can create boundaries. Energetic boundaries. A lot of people haven't really been able to understand what energy is and that everything's energy. Your boundaries are way more created, much easier to create with your own love, with your own loving capabilities of yourself. So as you're able to love yourself more and more and more, you're creating much more beautiful boundaries because you're going, I'm worth it to communicate and to voice my opinion. I'm worth it to stand up for myself. I'm worth it to take care of my garden. I'm worth it to do this. I'm worth it to be in an environment that is fulfilling me in every way. I'm worth it in creating change in my life. I'm worth charging what I deserve. I'm worth working a job, earning what I deserve. I'm worth creating a reality that I deserve. Okay? And oftentimes when we weren't taught we weren't given manuals on how to love ourselves in early childhood. We just weren't, nor were our parents, nor were their parents, okay? Life doesn't come with a manual saying, this is how you love yourself. And honestly, if you're raised in an environment where all these things were off balance and off kiltered, and you had a manual saying, this is how you love yourself, you probably wouldn't want to learn because you're like, what the hell is this? But discomfort is an aid to help us, reaching that contrasted experiences of going, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel good. So we start going into, well, what can we do that does feel good? But the subconscious mind is such a huge part of it. So this is why I'm able to help people with anxiety very quickly, because I teach them how to love themselves. I teach them how to heal themselves. I teach them meditation, and we do hypnotherapy all at the same time. Now, there's also neurolinguistic programming, which also works off the subconscious mind and shifting perceptions, okay? So there's a bunch of different tools and, and going about this, where a lot of times we go to therapy or whatnot. When I went to therapy, I would go in and, it'd be a lot of talking about my problems. I had a lot of realizations, but then I often, this is my personal experience, I'd often get to this space of, now what? How do I apply this? How do I continue to apply it? So hypnotherapy is really beautiful in terms of, let's actually apply everything that you just realized. Let's actually apply all the things that you really truthfully desire, that your heart longs for. When I ask a client, what is it that you want? And what is it your deepest, wanting to experience in life? How do you want to feel when you live throughout your day? And people respond, I want to feel joy. I want to feel free. I want to feel alive. I want to feel like I'm able to celebrate. I want to feel so good. I want to feel in the flow. And what's really great is that all these answers are your higher self coming through. Your higher self coming through. Sometimes it requires a guide to kind of go, okay, what is it that you want to feel? And really go, oh wait, this is an aspect of my higher self going, this is what you deserve. This is what you came here for. You don't have to be continuing these old stories of the past. This is what you're worthy of. You've always been worthy of it, but we've had to go through these different navigations and these different things in order to allow us to navigate at the right process, at the right time. So when we're actually able to do this, and scoop people through these processes in a way, after we've tended to, the flowers and fertilizing the flowers with more love and more, more resources, giving you all the resources, giving your inner child all the resources that it has been longing for. Hey, you've always been loved. Hey, you've always been, appreciated. You can always appreciate things. Hey, you can focus on the positive now because you're making more progress. And as you're making more progress, as you're fertilizing your flowers, now we can really get into the nitty gritty. Ooh! You may wonder, what's a nitty gritty? That was weird. Whoa. I just scared myself. The nitty gritty is creation. Okay. What is it that you want to create? What seeds do you want to plant? How do you want that to show up in life? How do you want to manifest? And it also comes into terms of a lot of people trying to understand, how do you manifest? Okay. So, and this is all, it's a lot easier to manifest when you're not stuck on scarcity and poverty consciousness. If there's one habitual subconscious thing in life, especially within our country, that takes control over so many people's lives, it is poverty consciousness, focusing on lack, what you don't have. Now, if we focus on lack, we're not actually focusing on what is natural, because what is natural is all the abundance that is available to us and all the resources that we have. Life in general is abundant. What is not abundant is our third dimensional linear-based fear programs based in the mind. Now, abundance is a lot more easier to experience when we are actually in the heart. This is why I'm going to be unveiling these classes coming up in February about moving into the heart. Okay. So as we actually start focusing on abundance, really creating from a space of abundance, it's just like if you're trying to find love, if you want the love of your life, but you're in a state of despair, you're probably going to attract somebody out of desperation. And it's probably not going to be in the most exciting, amazing relationship. I'm just going to say. Because law of attraction states that there's going to be that attraction or that vibrational frequency alignment. Oh, great. I just found a narcissist. Awesome. Don't do that. Okay. Or whatever. So now what I tell people is it's like, if you want to find love, Focus on yourself. Give yourself the love that you need and require so you can show up and so you can be really, really beautiful in your life. So you can really, so it doesn't care. So you can actually be an individual and show up in each other's lives. So you can be like, hey, I honor you as an individual. And the other goes, I honor you as an individual. Cool, let's go be individuals. Okay, so we don't have to repeat all this codependency stuff and okay, but we can be a support for one another. And this is an ideal situation. I struggle with this too, I'm going to be honest. But in terms of, I want to treat myself well. So when I treat myself well, I'm actually creating and manifesting something that's really beautiful. And that whatever comes, when it comes, I'm going to be excited. And also by doing that, I'm going to prove to myself that I, in fact, healed the old wound. Does that make sense? If we continue a cycle, a habitual cycle, if we continue the habitual cycle, it represents still holding on to the energetic frequency of the original wound, or the original trauma, the original pain. Okay? So as we resolve these things, as you allow yourselves to energetically break free and rise up, to put your car into 4-wheel drive and go, I'm not going to settle for this anymore. I'm not. I'm tired of it. Okay? And as you surrender, as you reach that state of vulnerability, you can start creating and planting those seeds and start going, okay, this is what I want. Clean slate. This is what I want. 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 And you start realizing the power of your own creation. Okay? The subconscious mind is so important. Subconscious mind. Oftentimes, dream state. I used to want to analyze dreams all the time. And oftentimes what dreams are doing is that you're actually clearing the collective consciousness in your dream state, but also there's different symbolisms and whatnot, because your subconscious mind often brings things into your dream state that maybe is not super desirable to be living in the conscious state. Okay? You're like, screw that, I don't want to deal with no. I just got chased by 3 chickens that were larger than, like that Peter Griffin thing, that chicken thing, dreams. Now, here's another thing. When we are thinking, we are in a state of hypnosis. You are actually in a hypnotic state when we're thinking, because the state of presence and being intentional is actually a state of calm clarity. Okay. When we're in a state of calm clarity, there's no thoughts in your mind. When you are present in a state of non-dualistic realization, you're coming from the heart, and you're in a state of presence, and there's no need to actually think outside of yourself. Okay? So, and it's really great. Like, I love being in this state because there's nothing to analyze, there's nothing to overanalyze, everything just is. There's good things, there's bad things, but here's the thing is that I've moved past like having to give certain things meaning to these things. Now, the reason why I'm really happy right now is because I made myself a 40-minute long hypnotherapy session around 2 p.m. today. And because I'm very self-aware, I pay a lot of attention to what are the different stories that are going on in my mind, in my space, that are causing me discomfort or misalignment, because the misalignment is actually what is, it's not in a state of balance. If it doesn't feel good, it's not your natural state. Your natural state is joy, love, bliss, happiness, unification, all that stuff, okay? So the reason why forgiveness is really important is because it helps resolve those original wounds that often are repetitive in the subconscious mind. So when people go, oh, I'm doing this forgiveness practice, so I'm going, okay, cool. And because you can will it away as much as you want, but if there's not that alchemical and subconscious aspect to it, you're going to find it repeating probably more often than not. So This is why I do everything the way that I do. This is the process that I've created in my coaching, in my own life. I've created this, that's completely different from other people, and this is the type of stuff this is the information that I want to take to, the Heart Math Institute and, Bruce Lipton, and go, like I've talked to Bruce a couple of times, said, hey, I developed programs that are actually totally in alignment with like what you do. He goes, oh, that's great. And I'm like, no, like really. But there's a big aspect that a lot of people don't understand, the energy healing, how empowering is it to learn a tool of actual application of loving yourself, to healing your own pain. That's really powerful. Okay. So when we have the tools to heal and balance ourselves, when you are feeling alone or scared or in pain, or you have a headache, but there's nobody around, or maybe there's that old abandonment, you can actually do energy work on yourself. You can actually do energy work on your inner child, the one that's craving your love. But yet society teaches us to go purchase stuff because of the lack that you have, that void that has been created from that love that you weren't getting. Do you see how this all ties together? I think I'm doing a pretty good job of piecing it together. So when we focus on trying to fill the void based on a lack that's created from our inner child's deepest wounds, sure, let's make stuff like alcohol totally legal. Hi, let's totally make all this stuff that's, let's make sure, filling the void is your main thing. So where you can continually be in a state of debt, to always have a void, to always be energetically suppressed, to always be energetically okay? So empowerment is a pretty sexy thing, because it requires you, it's take the blue pill or the red pill, okay? We need to detach from what has been taught to us in our upbringings, because a lot of it was societal conditioning based on old programs. And as things evolve on a global scale, on an entirely huge universal scale. So we have to move outside of our limiting minds and go, what if? We have to go beyond the computer files, the computer system, and go, what if? And then apply it. And that's the thing that I've been focused with my whole life on, is how do we apply these things? How do we teach them? How do I offer the now whats? Because we can talk about this stuff all the time, but now what? Okay. Now what? Well, first off, if you don't have a meditation practice, I'd start one. I talk about this often. The energies that are coming in, they're enough to throw everybody for a loop. Today was really intense. There was a big, intensity to today. So, but also we want to make sure that we're not allowing to blame so much of the external forces to create our, we want to go through it with ease and go, hey, I can actually create a habitual story, a subconscious program that allows me to feel at peace. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to feel at peace knowing that I feel a little uncomfortable. I'm going to be at peace knowing that I'm a little bit uncomfortable. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. And maybe as I feel uncomfortable, I'm going to go take a nap. I'm going to go take care of myself. I'm going to go love myself. There's an idea. Okay. So the subconscious mind is so powerful. So it's really, really important to learn how to actually go about this. And this is why I got my hypnotherapy certification. Okay. So there's hypnotherapists everywhere. There's lots of people who do it. My focus with it is I integrate it with the aspect of the spiritual awakening process. Not with everybody. It depends what people are resonating with. And I totally keep that into alignment. Hi, Victor. Hi, Justin. Hi, Barb. Hi, Terry. So, but with what I do is really along the lines of, creating programs that are completely different than what typical coaches or mentors or therapists do, because it's based on a physics aspect, spiritual aspect, integrating the heart and soul desires, the evolution of our hearts, but also the evolution of humanity. As we are going through this and acknowledging that these are the pieces that are all fitting together, and these are the pieces that need to fit together to really create profound change, or that can, they don't need to, but they can create profound change. And it accelerates and catalyzes the process. It really accelerates the process. Healing is not linear, okay? Sometimes if we do a hypnotherapy session, on self-worth, the energies that actually come through, because I do so much work on myself, I actually hold high energetic healing frequencies, with the sounds of my voice, and I use it intentionally in my sessions. This is also why a lot of my talks, everything is like really potent and clear, okay? So, but when we start focusing on empowerment and you're feeling not empowered, so as we start doing it, different things can start coming up, okay? The physical body stores information in the cells and DNA, all this stuff, trauma, all these different things. So if you start eating a certain way during a traumatic experience, the key would not be to fix the way you eat. The key would be, let's resolve the old story of that traumatic experience. This is also why it's really important not to diagnose yourself with ADD, OCD, ADHD. Those are just they're symbolic of being energetic sensitives, but also even down to the original core thing of boundaries, of being very, very, very open to higher energies. People who are very susceptible to, it's almost like each person has like little antennas. Some people's antennas are really, really, really highly aware and highly tuned in to higher states of being and consciousness. So it makes them go, I'm hyper. So the key to that would be, okay, let's teach them how to ground. Let's actually go, hey, it's okay to be you, but also you don't need to subconsciously, tune into all that stuff. What if we were to dial it down a little bit? What if we were to just dial it down a little bit to where it's comfortable for you, so it makes you feel good, so you can focus? What would it be like to focus on what you really want to focus on, okay? To play, okay? Allowing yourself to achieve your potential through play, and to doing the things that we want to do and discover. In school, I never paid attention to shit unless I wanted to, but I always knew that what I was being taught was not what I was interested in, okay? So, some people, I'm really glad my parents didn't put me on antidepressants, because oftentimes I was very emotional and extremely depressed. I'm very glad that my parents did not put me on, Adderall or anything like that, because of my emotional outbursts and inability to focus on things. But what it was actually for me was that I needed to learn that it's okay to follow my highest excitement and study what I want to study. And by doing that, I'm able to do this and help you and do all these things. So there's so many different aspects to the subconscious mind, and it's a really big topic. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. But again, the reason why I'm speaking about this is because it's something that not a lot of people pay a whole lot of attention to, and they just simply are not, not always super educated with it. So it's kind of like the iceberg underneath the waterline, where you got the tip of the iceberg, but then underneath is so much. It controls our diets, our health, or, like what we do, and, and how we react, and social anxiety, or, even addictions. when you know that you've moved past an old wound is when you no longer continue the action that holds on to what was the problem. So as we move into, okay, hey, I'm going to develop a new way of being. And as I move into a new way of being, I'm going to create a new reality. I'm going to create a new reality based off of empowerment, off of self-love, off of appreciation, I'm going to create something that I know that deep down I'm worthy of experiencing, and I'm going to aim high. And aiming high and reaching for our potential is so important right now, you guys. Everything that we do right now is so important. So if you've always had the dreams of doing this, do it. It's only a subconscious fear that's holding you back. It's only a different voice from your childhood that said you're not good enough. That's holding you back from actually accessing your truth, from your potential. The energies of potential, Archangel Metatron, energy of potential, moving into that state, that allowance of really, really, really achieving everything that you came into this reality to be a part of and to create. It's really important these days, you guys. So, did any of this resonate, or does any of this make sense? Did I make sense a little bit? So, here's the thing. I'm interviewing for coaching clients. If you're interested, send a contact form at theepichuman.com. I have a couple of my former clients on here right now, and it's great to see them. Yeah, if you're interested in doing any of this work, contact me, theepichuman.com, and let's have a little chitty chat and see how I can help you. Okay? Again, we can spend so much time reading self-help books and going through different modes and modalities, but what I bring to the plate is I've lived it, I've integrated it, I've studied it, this is what I do, this is how I've applied it. Through loving myself and through learning how to love myself, that's what I teach other people. So Pathways to the Heart, this is what we're going to be doing in the next month. I'm working out the final details of my new program called Pathways to the Heart. We're working on 4 basic principles of moving into the heart-centered consciousness. And that is through presence and energetic boundaries, forgiveness, worthiness, and self-love. Mic drop. It was a pen, but whatever. So anyways, yeah, hit me up, theepichuman.com. Please feel free and please share this video so it can help other people. Yeah, the more we can share this information during these times, people really need assistance. So this is what I'm here to do. If you can share this video, that would be very helpful to other people. And as well as, just creating big, wonderful, loving ripple effects in our communities of empowerment. Because we always look at people when they become empowered and when they start becoming inspired. You can't deny it. The heart cannot deny watching that. Okay. So again, if you are interested, please send me a contact form through my website, theepichuman.com. Okay. And yeah, I hope you're doing good. I hope this helped you guys. Did it help you? Did it make you feel good? Did it feel good? I will post the link after my screen's off, and I will. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and you're doing good. Okay, much love. I'm Danny Picard, certified hypnotherapist, Reiki master, Lighterian Reiki master, master Metatronia therapist, ordained minister, 23-year-old long meditator, and